Expect to see TSA agents become even more belligerent and lawless as they ramp up their sexual molestation of innocent victims. 2. Expansion of secret arrests of American citizens. Obama secretly signed the NDAA, legalizing the secret arrests of U.S. citizens while denying them due process. Obama also authorized secret kill lists that claim to authorize the U.S. government to assassinate targeted individuals. With his re-election in place, expect Obama to start issuing a mass of kill orders that will even start targeting political opponents. 3. Acceleration of national debt blowout and endless fiat currency creation. Under Obama, the national debt experienced a massive blowout where Obama added trillions of dollars to the existing debt. Right now, Obama is overseeing $1 trillion a year in additional debt, an amount that simply cannot be sustained without running smack into a financial catastrophe. It now appears that financial collapse is going to occur under Obama, not Romney. 4. Rapid expansion of GMOs and USDA collusion. Monsanto and the biotech corporations have thrived under the Obama administration thanks to USDA collusion and scientific fraud. Over the next 4 years, expect GMOs to dominate the U.S. food supply, while the Obama White House rejects any effort to try to label GMOs on a national basis. 5. Increasingly dictatorial government health care. Obamacare will grow like a cancer, pushing Americans into mandatory vaccinations that inject children with mercury, formaldehyde, MSG, and aluminum. Look for the Obama administration to wage even more wars against raw milk freedom, farm freedom, and food freedom, all while requiring yet more foods to be pasteurized or fumigated under the guise of food safety. 6. Immediate surge in sales of guns and ammo. Obama has promised to try to destroy the Second Amendment and deny Americans the liberty to own firearms. With his re-election, expect to see a massive surge in gun sales as more people attempt to stock up in anticipation of gun bans or government gun confiscation. 7. Accelerated erosion of the Bill of Rights and civil liberties. Under Obama, civil rights, human rights, and the Bill of Rights will be rapidly eroded. This goes hand in hand with the cancerous growth of government. As government expands its power and confiscates more economic resources, it simultaneously destroys individual liberties and due process. This isn't to say that Romney would have been any better, of course. Both candidates were philosophically invested in the rapid expansion of big government. 8. Continued destruction and looting of the U.S. economy. Under Obama, the financial looting of the U.S. economy by the global bankster elite will continue. The same would have been true with Romney, by the way. Under Obama, America's unemployment rate will continue to head skyward, entitlements will be expanded, and the USA will be plunged into a tyrannical welfare state dominated by mindless zombies who have no cognitive grasp of reality. 9. A giant sucking sound of employers leaving America, hiring offshore workers instead of creating jobs in the USA. And why? Because employers can't afford to pay Obamacare mandates and still stay competitive in the global marketplace. 10. Stepped up attacks on veterans and preppers. Returning U.S. veterans will continue to be vilified by the Obama administration, to the point where even more veterans will be arrested as terrorists for engaging in fundamental preparedness strategies such as storing food, water, medicine, and ammo. Watch for the liberal media to join the White House in painting veterans as dangerous individuals needing psychiatric medications. Never mind the fact that the media owes preppers a huge apology in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy.
All right, my friend. Did you get an earful of that?
Oh, I did.
So you could hear that one okay? I know we had some issues last show.
Yeah, I can hear that pretty well.
Excellent, excellent. So I wrote them all down so we could talk about them. What overall? What were your thoughts on this?
Oh, it struck me. I've got this one friend who is a gun shop owner.
Hmm.
And the Wednesday after the election, it was the biggest day in sales in the history of his shop.
Well, I gotta be honest with you. I'm thinking about going out and buying one myself.
There you go. So, yeah, if you buy a shop, no problem with it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, overall, my very first impression was okay. This sounds like Ron Paul, Liberty Coalition people talking, and it probably is.
Yeah.
The site where I got this from, by the way, is the Patriot Action Network, which does have its fair share of Paul bots, but it is not exclusively those folks. We well, or at least I am myself a member of that Patriot Action Network. But um, let's hit them. Start with number one: the expansion of the TSA to where they're going to start monitoring random checkpoints, rail stations, bus stations. What do you think of that, Muff?
Yeah, it sounds like government control of every aspect of your life.
Hmm. I would say this is necessarily a bad thing. I mean, well, TSA, they're doing such a bang-up job at the airports. Hey, why not put them in control of, the rail stations and the checkpoints on the highways and stuff like that, huh?
Yeah, why not?
So what are the odds you think that actually happening, though? That's where I guess the bottom line on this is.
Well, all right, let's take, for example, way stations.
Mm-hmm.
Trucks come through, and they periodically, around the state line on an interstate, they got to go and be weighed.
Right.
There's reasons for this, because they pay taxes by the pound.
Mm-hmm.
That's on their trucks, and certain roadways are only rated to carry X amount of weight.
Right.
Right? So, those are normally controlled by the state police of said state.
Right.
So, I can see now, let's just put the TSA in charge of them things. And the efficiency will decrease by about 95%.
That's optimistic.
Yeah, well, I gotta give them a little something. Maybe one in 100 knows what they're doing.
All right. I actually listened to a comedian the other day who was talking about this. Said the TSA, these are people that are supposed to protect us from these guys that are dressed in long skirts and sandals that are training like madmen to kill me. And you want me to feel safe because I have some overweight, fat chick checking my bags at the airport and making no secret of the fact that she's fat because she's not even trying to suck it in or nothing. So the buttons on her uniform are screaming for help. Like, what are you gonna do? Yeah, really? Okay. Yeah, the TSA.
Let's put it this way: you can train any monkey to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scientific fact.
Mm.
You can monkey to dial a telephone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, I'm not calling these in question monkeys.
Uh-huh.
Just because you can be trained to do a job doesn't mean you should be the one doing it.
Right. All right. Well, how much more security or how much more liberty are we willing to sacrifice in the name of security?
Evidently a lot.
Well, Ben Franklin says, right? To paraphrase, those who are willing to sacrifice liberty for the sake of security will find themselves with neither.
Absolutely, and that's very true.
Right. Well, and on that same topic, number two was the expansion of secret arrests through the NDAA kill lists. A little far-fetched for me. What do you think?
Yeah, but I could see even like me or you or one of our hosts being on that list.
Thanks, buddy. We'll get to me later. There's plenty down here to deal with me. But yeah, and I'm sure there are people out there pointing at their computers right now screaming, hey, what about, Al-Awlaki, who was an American citizen who was targeted by drones in, what was it, the Sudan, or I can't remember where it was when he got killed, in the Middle East somewhere. He was also a Yemeni citizen, a dual citizen. John Walker Lind, I don't, do I see them using this to put up kill lists of combatants on foreign soil? Absolutely, I do. I find it a little more hard to believe that they would exercise this on American soil against American people, but there are 1,000,001 conspiracy theorists out there listening to Alex Jones right now that will point out Vince Foster and what was it, Secretary Brown, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, where I would have said for certain, 2 years ago, baloney. Now I really can't say for certain, and I'm not really comfortable saying that. I cannot say for certain on this.
Yeah.
Well, in times gone by, I would have been the person that they would have tapped to say, okay, here you go, here's a list. If I saw American name or American people on there, you're gonna have to explain this. This is an American citizen. He has rights guaranteed to him by the Constitution. Might have to disobey that as a unlawful order.
Yeah, there'll be no such thing in the new regime.
Well, something a little more tangible. Moving on to number 3, acceleration of the debt crisis, and having Mr. Obama rule over the financial collapse of America. Now, this is solid, cold facts here, boys and girls. Obama's administration has added over $1 trillion debt in every year that he's been president so far. Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think the odds are that he's not going to continue this trend?
Yeah, no, he's not going to continue the trend. He's probably going to accelerate it.
Well, I mean, that's what they're saying. He's going to accelerate the debt crisis and hasten the financial collapse. Now, a lot of people would point to Cloward and Piven, saying that this is his goal all along, is to collapse our system and rebuild it after the Socialist Party agenda.
Right.
Say what you will about the, again, conspiracy theorists down the line. Right now, it's demonstrable that we are piling debt on top of debt on top of debt on top of debt. Your household can't survive that kind of addition of debt on a yearly basis. What makes you think your nation can?
Well, my household is barely surviving on anything right now.
My wife and I were having that discussion just the other day. It's like, 10 years ago, we made, several thousands of dollars less, and we were far more comfortable between checks than we are today. And we're, whereas, family income this last year was over 6 figures when it was all said and done. We're having a hard time making ends meet now than we were when we were, as a household, making, $60,000 a year.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, gas prices tripled. Just think about this. 10 years ago, gas was $1 a gallon.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, again, affected grocery prices, which were much lower. And now, with the expansion of the gas prices and hell, everything else, the energy prices, everything, every item on your grocery store shelf was in a truck at some point.
This is true.
Unless you shop at a farmer's market and they grow it in the backyard.
Yeah, well, see, they still got to get it to the farmer's market.
Well, I mean the backyard behind the farmer's market.
No.
Yeah, well, like I said, so every grocery item you got in your home was on a truck at some point, and that truck had to have fuel. And when you increase the cost of getting your supplies to market, well, that cost has to be passed on someone, and that these crackpot liberals never seem to get it. We'll go into some more of this stuff. We're talking about increasing taxes on the rich. Well, hell, they'll just stop buying stuff and pigeonhole their money. They can afford to. Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What am I going to do? I give you the inclination that I'm some sort of wealthy person. That I'm truly sorry. My household's 6-figure income this last year does not in any way say that I'm financially secure or well off. As I said, the costs of everyday living have gone up exponentially as well.
That is correct.
So